Hi, I'm Haya Eklemi. Whilst I love a good filter, here's the thing. There are no filters in real life, let's be honest. This is real life, real people, and unfiltered stories. Together, we will inspire and help to change someone else's story. Welcome to Heartfelt with Hyatt. Welcome to Heartfelt with Hyatt. Joining me today is Jean-Paul. Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening.
Yeah. Is it said Jean-Paul?
Jan.
It sounds like it's got like a French kind of thing.
French, Dutch, Greek.
Okay.
It's different versions, but John.
Okay, but do you say Jean-Paul?
Jan Paul.
Jean-Paul. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I'm a publicist, talent agent, and I do a bit of mentoring as well, and dressing models, sort of A-listers and stuff like that.
And you enjoy what you do?
Yes. Because
amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you done it for?
20 odd years.
Hey, amazing. Well, I can't wait for us to get into it. But before we do that, I want us to play a quick game of Would You Rather. So are you ready for your game?
Yes.
Okay. Would you rather be able to change the past or see into the future?
It's tricky because obviously the past affects the future. So if I could change the past, then the future wouldn't be the same. I think I prefer to see into the future, then at least I know what's coming.
Oh. And finally, would you rather power to erase minds or power to read minds?
If you could read into people's minds, I think that'd be more powerful and more useful to many people. So if
what would you like to read into people's minds? What would you like to find out?
People's intentions. If we knew people's intentions, we wouldn't be wasting time. Time is the essence of life.
True.
They say time is the thief of life. So if I could read into people's minds and I could know whether the person was sincere or not, I wouldn't waste my time.
So let's get straight into it because I'm excited to have you on the show and I really do want the world to get to know your story. So begin by telling us about yourself and where your story began.
Well, I was born in the third largest city in the Eastern Highlands of Zimbabwe, And so, I've got a sister who's 3 years younger than me, just my mum, my dad, sister, and I. So I'm the eldest child and the eldest grandson of Greek and African background, Zimbabwean. So Greek and Cypriot and Zimbabwean.
So you're the eldest. And was there a thing about being the eldest and the son as well? Because I don't know about you, but in the African culture, having a male son is like everything. So how was that? Were you like a favorite child?
Well, because I was the first son and the first grandson, I was spoilt a lot. In the Greek custom, that's even my name, the way I was named, My name comes from my great granddad's younger brother, Yanni. They removed the I and left the J-A-N. And Paul comes from my dad.
Yeah.
Paul. And so they will name you to let people know that this is the first son. And also, I was born with chronic asthma. My grandmother had it. My dad's mother had it. And so because I was very poorly, they always used to make special provision, have him go to the best hospitals, do this, do that, to make sure he's going to carry the name forward.
To me about your relationships with your parents and how was growing up? Is it in Zimbabwe?
Yes, I grew up in Zimbabwe. Yeah, very, very good. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it was bad or anything. My dad served as a bomb disposal technician, so he would go to war-torn countries and he specializes in disarming landmines and stuff like that. So he's well-traveled and stuff like that. So he never really used to speak a lot. He always joking around. He would never speak about his work.
So as a young guy growing up, your dad was away a lot of the times. Do you think that affected you not seeing your dad, or did you adjust to it?
Because I was the eldest grandson, there were all the people around. I think my dad's family had 9 siblings.
Whoa.
Because I was asthmatic, and because I had a big family, and I always had people around, I didn't really think like that. It's a bit strange, but you would think a son would want to be very close to his dad. Because when my dad came back from wherever he was deployed and whatever. He always made up for it.
That's nice. So you grew up and you had a good upbringing. You were clothed with love. Everyone around you loved you, and you were basically a sport favorite child who got all the attention. Were your siblings not jealous of you?
No, because where I've got a sister, she's more on the academic side. She's good at piano. She plays the violin. She speaks 5 languages at the moment. So she was always with the books, you know. She's very private, so she wouldn't be jealous because that's complete opposite to her personality.
Yeah.
So the more spoiled I was, it actually did the opposite. The more spoiled I was, the more I appreciate.
That's
As opposed
amazing.
to looking down on people, I actually appreciated more. I had friends who were, for example, when they're in school, they lost their parents and became homeless and became what they call them street kids
Yeah.
in Africa. So I had friends, imagine going to school with somebody who was doing well and things went wrong in the family and you see them in the streets begging for food. So that humbled you a lot because you always think that could be you.
Did you think that as a child? Did you actually
Yes.
think, really?
Yeah, because I thought to myself, everything I am is because of family. What's the difference between me and, you know, it was a few of my friends.
So then talk to me a bit about your later life and your journey from Zimbabwe to here, or if there's anything significant that happened during that time.
When I was growing up, because I was asthmatic,
Yeah.
I was limited. Every time I wanted to ride my bike, the asthma would play up back again in the hospital. So the only options I had was where we lived. We used to have this man that used to bring musicians and to play music, and they would play music and have the adults play football. And I realized, you know, they never argue. When there's music, it doesn't matter what color, what age, what background. Music used to bring people together. They never had an issue when there was music. So that kind of thing sort of got me where I am today.
So you mentioned a bit about color, and you said that where there was music, it brought you together. Tell us a little bit about what it was like outside of music.
So a lot of the things that we grew up around were very backward, but because I never knew any different.
Right.
Imagine living in a town. I'm born and bred there. My dad's in the military. Every one of my family members is from there. And I'm not able to buy anything from this Portuguese club that's set in my town. Why would somebody prohibit us from buying food? We don't want to steal it, we want to buy it. But because we didn't have any Portuguese links, we used to have somebody to sign us in. We would not be served, let alone sit down. Yes.
Now, obviously, you are mixed race. I would think that you kind of resemble the Portuguese. Did they see you different from themselves?
They can only tell because they speak in Portuguese.
Right. And how do you think that affected you?
Yes, because obviously they used to call us in between people.
Mm.
You haven't got a side, you're not a pure race. That's all I used to get. So they used to call us colors. My birth certificate, when it says the race, it says colored.
Wow.
My birth certificate says race colored. Yes. So I thought that was normal because that's what's written on the birth certificate. How can I argue it? You know, as much as I was getting to know my Greek side and everything, I wanted to know the African side.
Right.
So the only way to do that as a city boy, you know, I'd never really been up in the city apart from, so all my black friends, they used to go to what they call the grand home. So everyone, like people say your village or whatever, it is a village, but they have a name where their family name comes from. You know, they have a totem and stuff, but mixed race people don't have that. So what I used to do was go with my black friends to their home when they used to go like once a month to see, you know, the grandparents milk the cows, you know, things like that I'd never seen before. Imagine being in Africa, I've never seen them because they would never let me do that because I'm from town. We from the city, we think we're, you know, we've got everything, but when you go, they're so happy. They're pretty much living off the land. Everything was always to do with family. They'll eat together, they'll go to church. You know, they have it seems basic, but it was enough. So that humbled me because I actually got to know real way of the Zimbabwean life, you know, because obviously the mixed race culture is a bit of this and a bit of that. It's not, you can't say this is from the mixed race community. It's always taken, even the meals, the food, the things that they like are all taken from this culture and that culture.
Did you have Greek family living in Zimbabwe, or were they
No.
not there? Just your dad?
So my great granddad, was Greek. My
Right.
mum's dad, Cypriot.
Okay.
And because my great granddad fathered a child with a black lady,
Right.
was not, it was, he didn't, he was very wealthy and he didn't want anybody to know
Right.
that this lady has anything to do with him. So he paid money to keep, don't,
Brilliant.
hence the name. The name was taken away. When somebody was powerful and was wealthy, they could literally change the name and tell you what name you could. So that's what happened with us. So everybody always knew, oh, these are a byproduct of so and so. So like my great granddad had a Greek one and Greek family, and they didn't want to know. So it's the same with my mom. Her dad met my grandmother. She was black. He had my mom. Exact same thing happened. They didn't want to know my mom. They certainly didn't want to know us children. So
That's
again,
really interesting. So you
there's
you really did grow up with a level of rejection because there was no quite a definite place that you fit. How do you think that that affected you, or did it affect you?
the Greek people believe you're not Greek unless you're pure Greek. There's no such thing as half Greek. You're either Greek, and because I don't speak Greek, how would I speak Greek?
You
How
wouldn't.
would I? So I didn't speak Greek. How would I be eating Greek food? I've always said I think that's one of the best things. When you don't fit in anywhere, you belong everywhere.
That's great.
So instead of this turning into tragedy,
Yeah,
decided to change the tragedy into strategy. We might not be pure race or whatever, but we're people.
exactly.
Surely there's a purpose for us on this planet because there are
Right.
mixed race people everywhere, and it's only getting more and more and more.
Talk to me about how your asthma affected you growing up throughout, life, and how did you cope? Did you have the medication that you needed?
So asthma wasn't very well known,
Okay.
but the doctors I had, and thanks to my parents, I had great medical care. Anytime I was ill, 2, 3 in the morning, sometimes the doctor would even pick me up. The hospital was my second home. I never knew asthma kills people. When you're in a hospital and you're side by side with somebody and that person doesn't make it, you grow up really quick, which is what happened to me. My asthma affected me because it humbled me. When you're asthmatic, you can't afford to waste time.
Mm.
Speak.
So, talk to me about the transition between you living in Zimbabwe to moving here. How did that happen? How old were you, and what
I
did
was
that
in my
look like?
teens, late teens. Every person I knew had moved to the UK or Dubai. And you know the saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You come to the UK, it's different. The one thing I learned is what people always said. Now I understand my grandparents and stuff. Whenever you leave your country, you become a second-class citizen in another country. You're never the same. Every time you leave your home, you're going to go a level down.
That's really interesting, actually, considering that you grew up in quite a privileged upbringing, so that must have been quite different for you. I'm actually interested to know what you took to doing once you had arrived to the UK, and how did your, career pan out?
Yeah.
But when I came, most of the Southern Africans, they're very good at computers. So I got into computers, a bit of programming, because it was boring, wasn't very challenging. And I thought, what did I learn? What do I know?
Yeah.
I know that music. I didn't realize how influential the people I was lucky to grow up amongst. These former generals, they also liked music. They used to bring, I mean, one of them was famous for personally inviting Bob Marley to come to Zimbabwean independence. I never knew until many years later how lucky I was to sit with this man. And he used to bring other musicians, and that's where I learned.
And who's this man?
His name was Edgar Tekere.
Yeah.
Yes, Edgar Tekere was a very powerful man in the
Mm.
fight for Zimbabwean independence, and he lived in Mutare, in my town, and he loved jazz. He
Mm.
brought this famous jazz musician, blind saxophonist. His name was Fanyana Dube from Bulawayo, and he brought him to Mutare. He told him to move to Mutare because he liked him so much, and bring your son with you, bring your missus or whatever. You can come here and you can play there and pay you. He just loved listening to him. He had a son called Victor. We became very best friends. We're next door neighbors.
Okay.
So I used to go and listen to jazz, they do the sound checks. And because Victor's dad was blind, sometimes he would say to me, can you put the jacket on? Because I was quite tall from a young age.
Yeah.
So as to put the jacket on him, he was like, big and he used to wear tux. So I learned to dress from him. I learned etiquette. Even though he was blind, he was very, very well dressed.
Wow. So he was a blind saxophonist. That's so
Yes,
amazing.
one of the very, very best. And I never looked at him as a blind man. The way he dressed, he never spoke about his blindness or anything. So learning and watching how impeccable his skills were, I thought to myself, he has made a career by being himself. His God-given talent, he can dress. He does not make excuses for his disability and stuff like that, or inability to see. So it's more important to have vision than sight.
Wow.
So finally, I occupied myself with, instead of all this mixed race business, the one thing I'm always indebted to is who I am, is to where I came from. All the things I went through and all the things I was taught, I would have never become anything close to that.
So you were 19, you were doing computing, is it? And
Yeah.
you were fed up with it. And then you thought, you know what? Let me stick to what I know. And then, you know, you had a lot of influence, a lot of music influence. You learned to dress well because of the way that you saw, what was his name?
Fanyana Dube.
Talk to us a little bit about your career and how that journey and what direction that's taken you.
I decided to work on film set,
Yeah.
running around, you know, doing gaffer work. And I thought, can I be somebody who can interview people? And I thought, sometimes I don't want to talk. I used to do knife crime. It was very depressing. I did some work for the BBC and stuff like that. And they used to send me because of my ethnicity, hearing people's parents scream, you know, having seen incidents myself, you know. Then I realized I'm not mentally strong for that. And somehow I just got, it just happened. I was coming from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So when I went to the airport, guess who was in front of me? It was Akon. Oh, so I went up and I said, Akon, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? Blah, 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 blah. He said, I'll take a picture with you. I've got to go before people start hounding me. That was the first. And then the next one was, I got 6 tickets from my friends at the BBC. They said, you go down and you like music. When music comes on, I'll come alive.
Yeah.
You know? So I took 6 friends with me. I said, look, we're in the VIP booth. They said, this is big, you know. Victoria Beckham was there, Damon Dash,
Wow.
Alicia Dixon and So the crew were dancing on top of the tables. You had many other things. When I looked at it, and I thought, first it was Akon, now it's this. Then I started getting invited to do things on Top of the Pops. And I thought, this is fun because it's easy. So I thought, go into PR, but don't be in the forefront. I have no issue with having people in front. I wanted to do music and fashion because I see them together.
And of course, we know that that's exactly what you ended up doing, you know, as a publicist and a stylist. So interesting how it all came together. Talk to us a little bit about what life is like in the fashion industry and also as a, you know, publicist.
I can teach people how to dress because I learned. I look and I think, you'll build, you know, that's men and women. So for Fashion Week, models will hire me. Some people don't want to be known. They don't want to be mentioned, you know. These big names, you just turn up. If you want your VIP service, fine. I'll leave you over there and make it look like you've done everything. And a lot of people say, but how come you're always humble? We'll give you drinks. We'll send a car to pick you up. I don't change. So I've been lucky to meet many, many people. Because publicity doesn't go out of fashion. With Instagram, Instagram and social media, I used to only have pictures of my kids. People say, but why are you putting pictures of the kids? I said, because that's what's important to me. If it's pictures that you want, and you want validation from people, you're never going to be humble if you want validation.
That's it.
The more you spread your energy to people, they suck it dry.
Yeah.
For your value to go up, you must not be seen all the time.
You've talked about, you know, your career and it's really inspiring, your journey. What do you think has been the biggest challenge growing up as you?
I won't lie to you, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
The challenges I had here, a lot of it is to do with my ethnicity. Yeah. When I came here, I started to really understand why are they talking about racism? I can understand. The amount of times I've been pulled over, many times, been pulled over, not in my car, many times, and they used to profile people because more than anybody I know. But I also know people that I can actually see them getting treated. People I've worked with that are they've been racially violated using vernacular that they didn't understand. The reason I know these words because the owners of farms and businesses used to call the black workers those names.
Right.
So I know where they got these names from. So the only way to change the past is to educate people. The Freedom of Information Act, the best ammunition is to arm myself. My daughters have been racially abused right in front of me. You have to always think and educate your kids.
How have you taught your children to cope with being racially profiled or?
I teach them by reacting in the way that people wouldn't expect it to react, not the expected. There's no child that is racist. It's got to be that parent. So why would I have a go at a 5-year-old child who is racially abusing me? How would that child know to call another child fat and black? I don't want to play with you, you know? But it's to do with the parents. So this is where the issue comes from. But when you live in certain areas, so even if you do well, everybody wants to live in a nice area. Sometimes it's not right. You don't fit in because people look at you, or this is what I used to get used. They've taken off jobs, they've taken off women, they've taken this. They used to always say that. So when people target your children, I realize my job is serious here.
Yeah.
So to teach my daughters, I take them to work with me. I take them to concerts, to get to see different people. Have a look and see what I used to see when I was a kid. When there's good music and a good vibe, you look past color, race, and creed. That's the only way to heal people. That's why I stick with that. When the music is on, everyone is dancing. So you don't have to understand it. You know, racism is not going to go away, like ignorance. The best way is to show people it doesn't make sense. You can pick on me, but we're in this together. Look at this COVID thing. It doesn't care where you're from. It doesn't care your passport.
And John Paul, what would you say is one of the most important lessons you have learned in your life, or something that you can pass on and teach others?
Human beings are made of, their lives consist of human contact, not human things. We're worshipping things instead of loving people. People were meant to be loved. Things were not meant to be worshipped. And even through COVID, you can actually see how selfish people, human beings are. How selfish people need to be together. And the only way is either through culture, through food, through music. It's very powerful. 100%. I never knew how powerful music was. I used to look at music as something that you listen to when you want to be happy when you're driving. Music is medication because all we have in music is medication. What you listen to will affect your mood. If you listen to DMX, there's no way you're going to be chilled. You're about to start madness. Music has that power. So again, another thing I do is urge people to stop making lyrics, stop spewing poisonous music in order to line your pockets.
Wow.
Because you have blood on your hands. I look at bad music the same as people who peddle drugs, because music is so powerful, it can drive people.
Yeah.
Some people like me who are from a broken home are really affected. They're looking for a figure, for a father figure, mother figure, whatever. They're looking for somebody who sings the same story, but not all these people sing about the truth. They sing to sound. My responsibility, not just to address people physically, is to address them so they can rethink their lyrics. The same with fashion. I always tell the models, male and female models, when people look at you, don't be confused as being worshipped. Stand for something. Beauty, God gave you your looks. You didn't earn them. You didn't work for them. Now you want to think you're better off. Looks change. Something can happen. Be confused as being worshipped. Stand for something. I think a model is a role model. Many people call themselves model, but what model are you? I think it's short for role model. So anything can happen. Same with a musician. You're given a voice. You can spit bars. You can do this. Make sure you remain humble, because these are gifts that are given from above. You have to remain humble. It's the most difficult thing, to remain humble.
I love what you said, and I really do hope that, as people watch this, that they can really hear some of the deep rooted, like such good advice that you've given today. Is there anything else that you would like to say before the close of the interview? Because that was just amazing. I've soaked so much in from you. Thank you.
A lot of people are living in this digital age. You need to understand what you see is fabricated.
Yeah.
If you see the amount of people who walk around with bling and with this, with that, and if you see how they're living, this is a facade.
Exactly.
Some people have got mental problems. Some are smoking really hard drugs. Many people that you read in the newspaper are really troubled people. People are busy following them online. I have to speak to them and calm them down. They have no food. They're struggling, you know. Some are suicidal. I lost my best friend, suicide. So I don't take, and he didn't give a warning.
Wow.
He just did it. He was good looking. He was from a good background. Everything. He had everything from face value. I never knew. Up to today, I never knew what it was.
Wow.
So I know people, people have taken their lives. This, don't fall for pictures. And most importantly, what people don't understand is if you turn your back on your immediate family, the people that have helped you, and you think you've got new friends because you've got newfound, remember, like any actress or any musician, you might be at the top, somebody else is going to be at the top.
That's it.
You need to come back to basics. Live within your means. You can dream as much as you want, but remember, reality and dreaming are two different things.
Jean-Paul, as you know, October is the month that people in the UK celebrate Black History Month. So before I let you go, please do share a few words on Black history and the culture. Thank you.
Black History Month, we're very, very privileged and blessed. Rich culture, the instruments, the way we sing, our culture, the way we dress. Please have a look at the history. I'm not saying everybody should be a historian. Have a look and see just how deep our roots are. You realize how blessed we are. The Black History Month is universal. It's not just for Black people, for Africa. People are dancing here to Amapiano music. They don't even know what's up because good music doesn't matter origin. So when you look at Black history, we're very lucky. Again, we're representing ourselves. So for Black history, I'm somebody I've got Greek in me, I'm African, but the African side has helped me more than the Greek side. You might not have any Black or African in you, but I think there's Africa in every bit of something. There's Black history in every bit of it. That's what I believe. To be honest, it's been exciting and it's an honor to do this. Like I said, many times I've been asked to do this, but I've never really spoken about my background and stuff because I'm a bit shy, It's strange. When I'm out, I'm good at what I do, I think, but I'm very, very shy.
I would never have guessed that, to be fair.
Yeah, people such as yourselves who have taken the time to come up with something like this, to showcase what's more important, to use this for a good purpose, then I'm able to do it, but generally, other than that, I wouldn't be able to. But I really appreciate it, and I've said, please, do not forget, to all the people out there aspiring, it doesn't matter where you're starting from. Have faith. Faith will take you, further than any academic qualification. Don't look for money. Look for what are you good at, and if you have to grind and you have to work a job you don't like, that's fine. When you sell what's inside you, which is priceless, and you offer it for money, the value of money. £10 today, next week is nothing. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be like the Africans. They never sell land. Be like the Africans. They never sell land. There's a reason why. Because the land appreciates. So be like that with your talent. Be like that with your soul. Do not put a price on it. But yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you. Jean-Paul, it's been such an honor to have you here. And I love the fact that a lot of the time you spoke about humility. And, for anyone watching, what your struggle is, just keep working hard and stay humble. You heard it from Jean-Paul. Stay humble and work hard. Keep the faith. Thank you so much for your time, and I will speak soon.
Thank you. God bless you, and good night. Thank you.